the Royal Blue Podcast from the Liverpool Echo.
Hello and welcome to the Agenda podcast on the Royal Blue channel. This is the podcast where you send in the questions, you set the agenda. I'm Ian Croll and I'm joined by Connor O'Neill. How are you, Connor?
Not too bad, Ian, yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. It is the winter break, so how is the winter break treating you?
No different really, is it? I think so. Sadly in our profession we don't get a winter break, do we? We don't get the chance to go jet off around the world in the sun of Dubai, I think with Jordan Pickford is. And
I thought you'd be off gallivanting around New York City with Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Tom Davies. No,
I don't think my fashion dress sense would quite fit in with that. I think I'm much more reserved character in the dressing up ranks compared to them lads.
What do you make of the fashion sense? Is it your type of...
It's not my type of cup of tea, no. I'm much more of a plain clothes man type of guy.
White shirt and jeans.
Yeah.
With a jacket.
Even white is a little bit, a little bit...
A bit too brash.
A bit too brash sometimes, yeah. No, I mean, it's good, isn't it? It's good to see them doing what they want to do. I mean,
yeah.
The fact that the winter breaks allowed them to pretty much go jollying off to the New York Fashion Week and them to make the mark the way they have.
Is that what it is, the New York Fashion Week?
Apparently so, it is New York Fashion Week, yeah. So I think...
fair play to them,
I think it's safe to say they've took New York by storm, haven't they, I think?
Well, they've definitely taken Everton Twitter by storm, put it that way.
They definitely have, yeah. I saw Moise Kean as well, he posted a picture today where the chef is so
I saw that, yeah.
And I think his fashion, he's obviously been taking fashion tips from the lads as well, because his outfit left a lot to be desired in my eyes.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, well, we've got plenty of questions here that we're going to get through. It is obviously the winter break. Everton haven't got a game at the weekend, but Everton's rivals do play, so plenty to look out for in the Premier League over Saturday, Sunday and Monday. Chelsea and Man United Monday night, isn't it? And then obviously next week we can start really focusing on the Arsenal game. But for now, you have sent in the questions. You, the listeners, have sent in the questions. You've set the agenda. I will start with the first question sent in by Ben Crawford, who asks, after his comments this week, Ancelotti, how likely do you think it is that he will see out his contract and beyond after his 4 years, considering his previous jobs he hasn't stayed in there that long?
Yeah, I think that this is a really interesting question, this, because not just because I actually turned the piece around for the echo of them quotes.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah, shout out. But I actually will give a shout out to Chris Beasley's done a really good kind. I think we're on part 3 today, like a really long read of like his career.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's a fascinating read. If no one's read it, it really is. Yeah. Looking throughout his career, and it's interesting because part 3 is Milan, where he has his legacy almost. But after that, as people say and people already know, it's he has success but doesn't really stay long. And it's a really interesting one on Ancelotti, because it's something that I think has been branded about him for a while in terms of he kind of goes has a bit of success, but then off he pops. But I think there's really something Ancelotti clearly taken to Everton, because the way he talks, the way the way he feels, the way the fact we believe he's bought a house in the he's buying a house, he's got somewhere to live.
Yeah.
It speaks of all the right kinds of volumes, because so often I think in the past we've seen you think of Mourinho when he was at United, for instance, where they stay in a hotel and it's like they don't really want to buy into the city and the culture, and it's just I'm here to do a job and once I've done that job I'm going to go. But Ancelotti, there seems to be something there in the long term, and I think the big standout for me was the kind of his little line on he'd love to be a Bramley Murdoch and knowing all the fans singing his songs. So he's obviously dreaming. He's dreaming big, which is what we need. We've long sat here, haven't we? We've long bemoaned the fact that Everton haven't been as a club who've thought big, and as a manager who wants to think big, and he seems to be the man doing that right now. And although it's very early to say he'll be on 3 years, etc. But the signs in the immediate now are really, really good, because the fact he's coming out and saying these things is good to see.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely got to get this season out the way first before we start talking about 3-4 years and beyond and stuff like that.
But I just think if you look at his comments now compared to Ronald Koeman's comments when he first comes to the club, and the kind of his attitude was very much of like, it was as though he didn't really take to Everton Football Club, and Everton Football Club didn't take to him, and he kind of he just what he was saying, wasn't he? He never really had a connection with the fans. I don't think Marco Silva ever really had a connection with the fans either.
Do you think he's felt the love from the fans?
I think he has felt the love. I think
got a couple of songs now. Never mind one. Do you think he's had that at previous clubs?
Probably not. I think that's one of the good things. One of the things that I would tell people to have read a Chris's piece because it looks at stuff like that, you know, why certain clubs never took to him. You know, he looks at his Bayern Munich tenure where it basically just went wrong from day one pretty much. You know, people just didn't really take to him and stuff like that. So I think he is feeling the love, and I think, you know, Everton fans are always going to fall in love with Carlo Ancelotti because, you know, when they secured him, it was seen as a massive coup for the club, and it was the big name that, you know, I think Farhad Moshiri craved, but all the fans have craved as well for a long time. So I think he is feeling the love, and hopefully that love, you know, carries on and we get success, because there's no doubt he's improved Everton in the, you know, in the short term he's been here, you know, apart from the FA Cup defeat to Liverpool, which I think is the only black mark really against them. Yeah. You know, everything else has been pretty much, you know, really positive. I mean, even the Newcastle game, I know it was basically disappointing, maybe if you're right, but
the performance
for 90 minutes, that was one of the best performances. If we'd won 2-0, probably would have been the best performance all season. We were brilliant, and, you know, even the weekend against Crystal Palace, where, you know, we ropey in the starts the second half and they equalise, and, you know, I think if that was an Everton team that starts the season, you know, perhaps under Marco Silva, and certainly what we've seen in the past, it probably crumbles there, and, you know, Palace scored again, but, you know, the way he's got the team playing, you know, Charleston's confidence, the confidence he's instilled, it's really positive signs.
I mean, time will tell, obviously, you know, and if he is there that long and beyond that, probably does mean that he has been a success, hopefully, of won trophies, because you wouldn't expect him to be there that long if he wasn't successful.
Well, I think as well, he expects to win. He expects to be challenging for trophies. He expects to, you know, challenging for European football on a regular basis. You know, he spoke quite openly already, hasn't he, about, you know, he's kind of pushing for European football this year. It's not a case of he's come in and kind of gone, well, you know what, it's my first 6 months, you know, we'll just see how it goes. He's been quite open, and, you know, we challenges, we're going to challenge for Europe, which is great to see.
He's kind of making a mockery of some of the critics, like, you know, opinions of him, that because he's, you know, is he 60 now, 59, 60?
Yeah.
That he's obviously at the latter stages of his managerial career, that he's just there for the payday, and, you know, he's just there to go along with the ride and stuff like that. But he quite clearly, like we've just, you know, said there, he's felt the love, he's got the bit between his teeth, and he is ready and willing to work with these young players. It's not just about, you know, buying world-class stars and putting them in, you know, certain positions. He fully believes, and we've already seen signs of it, that he can improve this squad without having to spend money and develop these players into world stars. Next question.
From Matthew Barry. If Everton could sell John Joe Kenny and Tom Davies in the summer for a combined £40 million, should we take the money?
£40 million is a lot of money for those two, in my opinion anyway. I mean, I would say yes, absolutely. Tom Davies, if he sticks around beyond this season, I think we've talked about it, haven't we, in the past. Next season is huge for Tom Davies. If he doesn't start holding down a regular berth next season in Carlo Ancelotti's team, I can see him moving on. I think we've said there's no point in loaning him out. He's got to be, you know, he's got to be seen. He's got to be, you know, visible from the manager's point of view. Obviously, when I say that, you look at the likes of Mason Holgate, and he's had a loan and he's come back improved. John Joe Kenny is, you know, being out on loan, and from, you know, what we're hearing, I haven't seen any of it, but he's performing well. So I don't know. It is a tough one, but £40 million, I would probably bite your hand off for both of them. I would have to say that. I don't think we'll get that. I don't think that's realistic, to be honest, Matthew. But I do think if an offer came in excess of, you know, 30, 35, I would definitely take that offer. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think you've got to be realistic, haven't you? I think there's not many assets in Everton squad at the minute who you'd... Well, we've got assets, but we don't want to lose them assets, do we? You know, like Charleston, Calvert-Lewins, Mason Holgate, you know. So I think if you could get big money for them types of players who you know, certainly in Tom Davies' aspect, who's become a squad player, then it aids the transfer case that you're potentially going to give to Carlo Ancelotti, doesn't it, in the long and possibly short run.
Yeah, all right, thanks for your question, Matthew. Next question is from Paul Carew Rideout, who has mentioned John Joe Kenny in this question, so it is kind of linked in with the previous one. With John Joe Kenny seemingly in the picture for the first team next year, and Sidibe potentially staying permanently, is it maybe a smart time to finally part services with Seamus Coleman? What are your arguments for and against?
I don't really think there's an argument for and against, because I think in this situation you've got to back the judgment of Carlo Ancelotti. You know, like we alluded to, you know, in Ben's first question, you know, he's a world high profile name, 3-time Champions League winner, you know, his CV speaks for itself. So if he makes the call to get rid of Seamus Coleman, then you've got to back that. If he feels fit to keep Seamus Coleman around, then you've got to back that call. It's not really for, I don't personally think for me or you to just kind of put a case up, but you've got to back the manager in them situations. You know, if he feels that, you know, Coleman's experience and leadership is vital around the dressing room, then, you know, that's in my opinion, you know, certainly a reason why you keep him around. If he feels that we've got leaders who are growing, and, you know, and I think as well, a lot will depend on Seamus Coleman himself, whether he wants to, you know, depart to play regular first team football, or whether he's quite happy to be a kind of bit part player at the football club. I think it is interesting, though, not so much on the Coleman aspect, but the Kenny and Sidibe, because you do imagine if, you know, Kenny comes back, he would want to be first choice right back, or certainly push.
Been playing every week.
He's been playing every week for Schalke. Sidibe, if we bring him in, you know, you would imagine he won't want to be first choice full back because of how well he's done this season, the fact that we're probably going to spend money on him. So I think that is more the interesting conundrum facing Carlo Ancelotti, and the big question more than whether to keep Seamus Coleman on or keep him around at the club, or etc.
I mean, for the two players that are at the club in Sidibe and Koeman, Ancelotti's managing it quite well, isn't he? There's a bit of a rotation going on. You know, you'd probably say Sidibe's had the edge, but, you know, Koeman played on Saturday, didn't he? Okay, Sidibe came on for Walcott, and they can form a solid partnership. Marcel Brands has talked in the past at the recent general meeting that Everton will target a right winger in the summer. So, you know, you would have to say that Sidibe, if he was to be bought, would just be bought as a right back. So we've got three strong options that, you know, could be there next season. Obviously, Koeman is under contract. He will be at the club unless we, you know, sell. John Joe Kenny, again, the same thing, unless he goes out on loan again or we sell. Sidibe, we're going to have to fork out £12 million, was it? Something like that from Monaco.
12.75 million, I think Phil Cape said in his piece.
But, you know, at the moment, Ancelotti is working with what he's got. Who knows what he will decide in the summer. You know, we might sell, and we could have money there that's available, and he could, you know, pull a rabbit out the hat, and it could be it could be one that we don't know is on the radar.
Robert Powell asks, what is your point expectations for the upcoming tough games?
Well, our next run of games, obviously, Arsenal, United, Chelsea. You'd have to say, expectation-wise, you would hope for like a possible 7. I know that there's 2 away, isn't there? Arsenal's away, Chelsea away, with the United one at home. I would hope for 7, probably get 4. I think Arsenal, obviously not the team that they once were. Well, all 3 of those teams are not the teams that they once were. You know, Arsenal got mitigating circumstances with Europa League. Will they, you know, think that Europa League is the more realistic target of reaching the Champions League, and we play them slap bang in the middle of 2 Europa League ties? I think it's all in our favour at the minute. I'm a little bit gutted that the winter break is now, because I feel like we've lost a bit of momentum. But, you know, the break will save as well in terms of getting players back fit, i.e. Gomez, and obviously Walcott went off injured, and I know Bernard took a bit of a knock. So we get them players back fully fit against Arsenal, start this next run off, you know, as we mean to go on, take 3 points away to Arsenal would be, regardless of how well they're playing at the minute, a huge statement. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, I don't think, have we ever won away from home at Arsenal in the Premier League? I can't even remember.
We won at Highbury.
I can't, that's how long ago it was, I can't even remember.
I mean, saying that actually could have still been the old first division. Yeah. Then, actually.
Too long ago for us young guns. But yeah, you know, 4 points realistic, with the hope that we could get 3. I mean, if we came away with all 9, that would be fantastic. But if we came away with all 9, that would put our season on a, you know, expectation on another level. What are you hoping for? Obviously, 4 points. Obviously, like.
I agree with you. I think, you know, 7 would be really, really good. 4 to 5, I think, is realistic. Yeah. Okay,
thanks for that question, Robert. Next one from Rob Brownlow. Given that the current form is so good, do you think Moise Kean should be given more game time to keep his confidence up?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because it right now, this minute, it's so hard to drop Richarlison or Dominic Calvert-Lewin in that forward line. I think he'll be given bits here and there. I think the reason I wasn't brought on the weekend was because it was so tight. I don't think Carl really wanted to make many changes and stuff. So, but I think we'll probably see a little bit more of him as the season goes on. I think there's no doubt his confidence has improved and he looks a real asset. You know, that Newcastle game was by far, you know, his best performance this season. He looked hungry, fresh, raring to go. So I think, you know, we will see more of him. I think we will get game time, but in terms of starting games, I just think it's so hard because Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin have become absolutely pivotal to a lot of what's been good about Everton in the last couple of weeks, and they're basically paid them undroppable at the minute. And
if he wants to, you know, push himself for a starting berth, he's got to take his chances.
He's got to become more of a goal threat because, like we've seen, Richarlison can do something else, absolutely nothing, and you know, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's Everton's most, you know, prolific goal scorer at this moment in time.
I mean, they're adding goals to the game, but you'd probably say Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin work harder off the ball than Moise Kean would as well. So you take one of them out, you're losing. And I'm not saying Moise Kean's lazy, but you probably will lose an aspect of your game for that. So, you know, if he comes in, we're all assuming that he's, you know, going to be on the bench against Arsenal. But if he gets an opportunity to come on, he's got to take his chance. You know, if he finds himself in those areas, just score. And then the manager's going to be thinking, right, you know, he's going to be in the manager's mind for a starting berth against Manchester United.
Rob Osp asks,
2 questions from Rob here. Wow.
Do you think Jordan Pickford is right to make comments about England players being hated, or should he just focus on keeping his head down and eradicating his silly mistakes?
I think you've kind of just said it in one there. He's got to keep his head down and, you know, eradicate those silly mistakes. I understand his frustration coming out after that game, you know, but at the end of the day, he did make a mistake. He did. It didn't cost the team. We won the game and we collected all 3 points. But I think everyone, we've said it on podcasts this in the past, everyone I know of spoke to fully believes that Jordan Pickford has the ability and the quality to be a goalkeeper. It's just all in his mind. He can be a little bit immature sometimes and concentration levels drop, and it quite clearly dropped against Crystal Palace, and that's why he should have saved that against Benteke. Yeah. It was poor. The shot wasn't even a proper shot, and it goes underneath him. Comes out frustrated, having a go at certain people in the media. Just leave it, Jordan. Just don't say a word. Just move on to the next game. Go and enjoy your holiday. Come back against Arsenal fresher. Is he feeling the pressure? You know, Euro's coming up. Still England's number one. Obviously, Gareth Southgate was in the stands. Maybe he is feeling a little bit of pressure. He's definitely got a lot more competition for England than he has for Everton. Just do a little bit of growing up. Keep your concentration and just go about your daily business as you normally would without anything affecting you. And I think that will, you know, stand them in good stead. Next one from Rick Eckloff. Is that right? Rick Eckloff, yeah. What do you feel is the most important thing for the team to get accomplished during this break?
Just rest up.
No gallivanting around New York City for New York Fashion Week.
Just rest up, isn't it? And go again. Carry on, pick up where you left off before. That's all you can do, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'll probably, like we alluded to it helps that, you know, probably gives us a little bit more time to get Andre Gomez back fit. I know Carlo Ancelotti confirmed in his press conference before Palace that they're probably going to play a friendly sometime this week coming.
Yeah.
Which Andre Gomez is hopefully going to be a part of. So hopefully, you know, he'll come through that. But in terms of rest of players, it's just rest up, recoup him, get ready to go again for a big finish towards the end of the season.
I think most breaks that we've had in the past has been where, you know, the players that probably haven't had time off, you know, they've been at the training ground working, and I think obviously we need to realise that Carlo Ancelotti probably won't have that luxury. You know, the winter break is literally, you know, for, you know, players to have off, and obviously they're not going to be off for all the way up to, you know, the Friday, Saturday. They are going to come back before that, like you said. They're going to play a friendly. I'm sure Carlo will be able to work with them, you know, over, you know, a couple of training sessions, but it won't be enough to like think, oh, we can work on this aspect of our game. It'll just be, like you said, get players back fit, you know, get players back in the squad, and, you know, hopefully people will be rested up and ready to go for the final run into the end of the season.
Bradley Rettler asks, if Walcott is out for an extended period and with Sidibe being less than impressive in his place, Who would you like to see there?
Interesting. Do you think Sidibe's been less than impressive?
No, I don't actually. I think he's actually he's done quite well there.
I think
he struggled on Saturday when he come on. I think he struggled to get up to the pace of the game. But
he had the sock incident, didn't he?
That's always naturally going to happen, isn't it? I think when you look at it and you think like, he coming on in a game, it's not the most prettiest games to go into, was it? You know, it was, the weather was quite bad, and you know, it wasn't the ultimate football game that you're going to go on to. But I think he's done okay in that. But I think actually at times he's been better going forward than he has defended. So,
well, I think that's why Ancelotti plays him, or like to play more on the right wing rather than right back. I mean, hopefully Walcott for a start isn't out for an extended period of time. I would be reluctant to drop Richarlison back to the right, because I think he's formed quite a formidable partnership with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and I think in the past when Silva's been in charge, the chopping and changing of from striker to right wing to left wing, it just hasn't helped him. He's been consistently being played now as a striker, and you can quite clearly see he's reaping the benefits of it. So I would be reluctant to play him on the right. You've obviously got other options if Walcott is out and he doesn't want to play Sidibe as the right winger, in terms of Iwobi. Bernard probably could play there. I'd probably say the two. Although I don't like Iwobi on the wing. I feel he's less effective. He's less effective there. So let's just hope that Walcott is not, because it is quite unlucky what happened to him, scoring a goal against Watford, then a fantastic assist, by the way, and now, like, what was it, 2-3 minutes after that, gets injured. I haven't heard anything, to be honest. I don't know myself.
I don't think anyone has.
So I don't know whether that's good news, to be honest.
But imagine he's probably away, isn't he? They'll reassess. He'll have some time away, won't he?
Yeah. Well, he hasn't been seen pictured on crutches or anything like that, which is obviously a good sign. So, yeah, there you go, Bradley. Last question. Is it me asking it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, last question from Keith Sharples. With Ancelotti stating he wants European football, can the players' mentality be kept strong with the added pressure of this? As in the past, when the pressure is on, we tend to crumble, which I think is a fair shout. Yeah,
it is a fair shout by Keith, but you just got to hope that Carl Ancelotti's having the effect we hope is, and he's changing that mentality bit by bit. I think in terms of answer Keith's question, we'll see in the next 3 games, because the next 3 games will determine whether we will genuinely have a chance for European football, or whether it'll be another one of them seasons where we can start thinking about heading for the beach before we hit March, April time, middle March, April time. So I think Keith's point is one that is certainly warranted, because we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years, haven't we, the mentality is really being questioned by some. But you look at the Watford game where we come from behind, shows a bit of character, to do what we've done with 10 men, the way we come back on some Saturday when we were under the cosh, is maybe a small indication that things are changing. But I think the next 3 games will tell us if the players are mentally prepared or not, because the 3 massive games, and like you said earlier, it'll be a big thing to tick off a winner, one of the traditional top 4, top 6 teams. It'd be massive if we could take a win off at one of them places, because it's something that we very rarely do.
It'll come down to quality, obviously, as well, but I think mentality is a huge aspect of our game that we've failed in the past. So hopefully, if we can be solid and maintain our consistency that we've had certainly over the past 2 games, we've got more than a fighting chance against the top 3. If we come out, with 6-7 points, I think we're definitely in with a shout of
European football.
Absolutely. Okay, well, that is the Agenda podcast for this week. Are you working this weekend, Connor, or are you free?
I'm in Saturday, working Saturday.
All right, well, don't work too hard.
Well,
I know you never do.
I'll try not to.
I'm only messing. All right, well, thanks for listening to the Agenda podcast on the Royal Blue, Acast and iTunes channel.